Imagine waking up tomorrow with $650 million sitting quietly in your bank account. No lottery announcement. No news headlines. No one else knows. Now ask yourself one simple question. Would anyone actually notice? Most people immediately picture a mansion overlooking the ocean, a garage filled with exotic cars, designer clothes, private jets, and vacations that never seem to end. We have been taught that wealth is something loud, that it announces itself before the person even enters the room. But reality tells a very different story. Some of the richest people on earth walk through airports unnoticed. They shop in ordinary grocery stores, wear simple clothes, drive reliable cars, and rarely feel the need to prove anything. At the same time, millions of people with average incomes spend enormous amounts of money trying to look wealthy. Somewhere along the way, society confused looking rich with actually being rich. And that misunderstanding quietly costs people far more than they realize. Think about someone living in Chicago, London, Berlin, or Amsterdam. They have what most would call a good job. Maybe they're a software engineer, a project manager, a nurse, or an accountant. Their annual salary sounds impressive on paper. Perhaps $90,000 or even $110,000 in the United States, or the equivalent across Europe. Friends assume they're financially comfortable because the income looks high. But income is only one part of the equation. Once taxes are deducted, health insurance is paid, pension contributions are made, and mandatory expenses disappear from each paycheck, the number becomes much smaller than people imagine. A person earning $100,000 a year in America might bring home roughly $6,000 each month depending on where they live. That sounds like plenty until real life begins taking its share. The rent or mortgage payment arrives first, perhaps $2,200 every month. Then comes the car payment, another $650. Insurance takes another few $100s. Student loan repayments continue long after graduation, quietly pulling another $400 from the budget every month. Credit card balances accumulated during unexpected emergencies or holidays require minimum payments. Electricity, internet, phone bills, groceries, fuel, streaming subscriptions, gym memberships, occasional dinners with friends, birthday gifts, and weekend entertainment slowly consume what remains. None of these expenses feel outrageous on their own. Each one seems reasonable. But together they leave surprisingly little breathing room. By the end of the month, someone earning what looks like an impressive salary may have only a few $100s left, or sometimes nothing at all. Now imagine another person living in France, Germany, or the Netherlands. The financial details are different, but the emotional experience is remarkably similar. Taxes may be higher, healthcare may be less expensive, and public transportation might reduce transportation costs. But rent continues climbing, food prices increase, energy bills fluctuate, and daily life gradually becomes more expensive every year. They may save diligently for months only to see those savings disappear because the washing machine breaks, a family emergency occurs, or an unexpected expense appears without warning. Different countries operate under different systems, yet millions of middle-class people across America and Europe experience the same invisible pressure. They earn enough to survive comfortably, but rarely enough to feel completely secure. This is where one of the biggest financial misunderstandings begins. People often believe their problem is insufficient income. Certainly, some households genuinely struggle because wages have not kept pace with the cost of living. But for many others, the problem is more subtle. Modern society encourages people to increase visible spending every time their income increases. A promotion often leads to a larger apartment. A salary raise becomes permission to buy a newer car. A bonus turns into a luxury vacation. Financial progress becomes measured by lifestyle rather than ownership. The result is that people who earn more frequently end up feeling no wealthier than they did before. This happens because humans rarely compare invisible numbers. We don't compare retirement accounts while standing in line at a coffee shop. We don't compare investment portfolios during neighborhood barbecues. We compare things we can actually see. We notice the luxury SUV parked in the driveway. We notice expensive watches, fashionable clothes, renovated kitchens, and exotic vacations shared on social media. Visibility creates the illusion of wealth even when the financial reality tells a completely different story. Someone driving a $90,000 vehicle could have less than $500 in savings. Someone driving a 10-year-old sedan could quietly own millions of dollars in investments. The outside reveals very little about the inside. Now let's return to that original question. If someone truly had $650 million, would they need anyone to notice? Probably not. Their financial life would no longer depend on appearing successful. Every purchase would become a personal decision instead of a public performance. Ironically, extraordinary wealth often reduces the desire to display wealth. Once money no longer serves as proof of success, it becomes a tool rather than a symbol. This is one reason many genuinely wealthy individuals appear surprisingly ordinary. They have nothing left to prove. Meanwhile, people still building wealth often feel enormous pressure to signal success before it actually exists. Consider the psychology behind financing a luxury vehicle. Imagine buying a car priced at $70,000. Very few people think about spending $70,000 all at once. Instead, they think about the monthly payment. The dealership doesn't focus on the total cost. It highlights a number like $995 per month. Suddenly the purchase feels manageable because the brain naturally processes smaller recurring amounts more comfortably than one large number. This isn't an accident. Businesses understand that monthly affordability feels emotionally easier than total ownership cost. Our brains are wired to prioritize immediate satisfaction over distant consequences. Psychologists call this present bias. Receiving pleasure today feels more valuable than receiving greater benefits years from now. This explains why, by now, pay-later services have become incredibly popular. They don't reduce prices. They simply delay discomfort. Instead of asking whether something is worth its total cost, people ask whether they can survive another monthly payment. That small shift in thinking changes countless financial decisions. Let's look at some simple math. Suppose you commit to a $1,000 monthly payment for 6 years. By the end of those 72 months, you've spent $72,000. Now imagine taking that exact same $1,000 every month and investing it in a diversified stock market index, earning an average annual return of around 8% over the long run. After 6 years, you haven't just contributed $72,000. Compound growth may push the balance toward $90,000 or more, depending on market performance. The true cost of the expensive car wasn't simply $72,000. It was also the investment growth that never had a chance to exist. Economists call this opportunity cost, but most people never see it because invisible losses rarely feel as painful as visible purchases feel rewarding. Extend that timeline another 10 or 15 years, and the difference becomes even more dramatic. Money invested early quietly multiplies while expensive possessions steadily lose value. Cars depreciate. Electronics become outdated. Designer clothing eventually leaves fashion. Meanwhile, productive assets continue working long after they've been forgotten. Wealth is often built not through extraordinary returns but through ordinary decisions repeated consistently over long periods. Financially intelligent people therefore ask a different question than most consumers. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this monthly payment?" they ask, "What will choosing this cost my future self?" Those questions sound similar, but they produce entirely different answers. The first focuses only on today's cash flow. The second includes tomorrow's opportunities. One mindset thinks in expenses. The other thinks in ownership. Another psychological force quietly influences almost everyone regardless of income. It's called hedonic adaptation. Simply put, humans quickly become accustomed to improvements. The new apartment feels luxurious for a few months before becoming normal. The expensive smartphone generates excitement for a few weeks before blending into everyday life. The luxury vehicle eventually feels like just another car. Happiness adjusts surprisingly quickly to material upgrades. Then a new desire appears. Something slightly larger, slightly newer, slightly more impressive. The cycle continues endlessly because satisfaction keeps moving forward. Investments behave differently. They don't provide instant excitement. They don't attract compliments at social gatherings. No one stops you on the street to admire your retirement account. Yet over decades, these invisible assets quietly create freedom. They create options. They reduce stress during emergencies. They make career changes possible. They provide flexibility when life becomes unpredictable. Financial security isn't exciting on social media, but it becomes incredibly valuable when unexpected challenges appear. This highlights one of the greatest differences between appearing wealthy and becoming wealthy. Looking rich depends on what other people see. Being rich depends on what nobody sees. The luxury handbag receives attention. The investment account receives none. The expensive vacation earns hundreds of online likes. The growing portfolio earns silence. One creates temporary admiration. The other creates permanent flexibility. Perhaps the most valuable thing money can buy isn't luxury at all. It's optionality. The freedom to leave a toxic job without immediate panic. The freedom to move closer to family. The freedom to care for aging parents. The freedom to take time off after burnout. These choices rarely come from expensive lifestyles. They usually come from years of quietly building assets that nobody else notices. This doesn't mean spending money is wrong. Comfort matters. Experiences matter. Family memories matter. Improving quality of life is one of the legitimate purposes of earning money. The problem begins when purchases stop improving life and start communicating status. When buying something becomes less about personal usefulness and more about external approval, financial decisions become emotional rather than rational. Ironically, the people we're trying to impress often stop noticing almost immediately. Your coworkers admire the new car for a week. Your neighbors notice the renovation for a month. Social media moves on within days. But the financial commitment remains for years. So let's return one final time to the question we started with. If you had $650 million, would anyone notice? Maybe they would. Maybe they wouldn't. But perhaps that's no longer the most interesting question. A better question is whether someone with that level of wealth would even care. Financial security changes incentives. When your future no longer depends on other people's opinions, the desire to perform success gradually disappears. You begin making decisions based on usefulness rather than appearance, long-term value rather than short-term validation, ownership rather than image. Most of us will never possess $650 million, and that's perfectly realistic. But we can still learn something from the mindset hidden behind that number. Every purchase quietly asks us a question. Are we buying something because it genuinely improves our lives, or because we hope someone else notices? The answer doesn't determine our future overnight. It doesn't transform our finances by next month. But over years, those small moments of awareness accumulate just as quietly as compound interest. And in the end, the people who become financially secure often don't look dramatically different from everyone else. They simply make slightly different decisions consistently while nobody is watching. If this perspective has helped you see your finances in a different light, consider subscribing to the channel. We are here to help you navigate the math and the mindset of true wealth.